Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Commentator Ninja channel. My name is Mary Layton. I'm the Commentator Ninja, and today I am so excited because I have my first ever guest on the channel. This is Whitney Miller. She is the director of the board of Neighborhood Ninjas. I'm sorry, the board president of Neighborhood Ninjas. I asked her this 3 times. Still didn't get it. It's okay. Second time's the charm. But we're really excited to have her here. We're going to talk about a lot of exciting things. The first thing we are going to talk about is pull-ups for playgrounds. So Whitney, why don't you give us a little bit of an intro and then tell us what is pull-ups for playgrounds?
Perfect. So for those of you who don't know, Neighborhood Ninjas, we are doing our first Ninja Warrior Playground project. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Neighborhood Ninjas, we are a national nonprofit, and we've been in the past doing scholarships for comps, scholarships for worlds. We launched a nationwide mentor program. We've done darkness to light trainings for gyms, which is concerned with like child safety policies and helping the community be safer. And so now we are so excited to build our first Ninja Warrior playground that many of you all have even helped give input on the design. I know Mary's one of them. And we're excited about this. And so a playground is expensive. And so Pull-Ups for Playgrounds is our fundraiser for our first playground. And we hope that this is like the first playground of many throughout our country. So we're really excited. We hope this fundraiser goes well and we're able to like top off the remaining expenses for this project. And then we can start thinking about playground number 2.
That is amazing. Now I know playground number 1 is going to be in Wilmington, Delaware, and it's going to be in a really great location. I haven't seen the location yet, but I'm really excited to like go out and actually see it. I'm hoping that I can be part of the build process, part of the reveal process, part of the play process. I'm so excited for it. So talk to me about pull-ups for playgrounds. So this is a competition. This isn't just like raise money, do a bunch of pull-ups. Like you can win stuff for this, right? So talk to me about who can compete and what are some of the categories where you can win prizes.
Right. Okay. So we all know ninjas like to see who's the strongest. Like there used to be strongest ninja was a thing with NNL. Well, WNL, like, but it was NNL a few years ago, right?
Sorry, Phil.
Yeah. So we love that. So pull-ups for playgrounds. The competition is who can do the most pull-ups in an hour. So that is the primary competition, but we are giving prizes. You can compete as a gym. So like your gym total. So there's the gym with the most pull-ups. There's the individual with the most pull-ups, male and female. There is the individual that raises the most funds. So we have a donation link that even if you're donating the $50 for yourself to compete, we still appreciate you sharing our link because it gets our name, it gets our project out there in the community more. And then there's also the gym that raises the most money. We've got individual prizes. We've got gym prizes. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. It's nationwide. We have people out in California participating. We have folks, Warrior Tech is encouraging their people to participate. Florida's participating. And then we have an on-site location in Wilmington, Delaware, where we're trying to bring the fitness community together to all compete for a great cause.
So cool. I'm really excited to see, because I know the gym where it's being hosted is a CrossFit gym. Yes. And I know there's athletes from that gym compete. So one, I hope they can do regular pull-ups and not just butterfly pull-ups. But I'm really excited to see that. I was just pulling up on my Instagram here, all of the gyms that are competing. So Movement Lab, Warrior Tech, iCore, Dexterity Depot, Full Send. They have a competition that weekend. I don't know how this is going to work. However, I'm very excited to see this.
I think they're doing a competition.
Yeah. Oh, that is so cool. It's like double competition. It's like so much hype. No, but that's so cool. I feel like I really wanted to just like look at this and like make a prediction about which gym is going to win, but I honestly do not know because there's just so many ninjas that go to all of these gyms and train there that like it's going to be anybody's game. That's so exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time for sure. There's really great prizes. Stay tuned to the Neighborhood Ninjas social account. We're going to be doing like a post, like announcing officially what all the prizes are for. But, just to throw some things out there, the Fit Bar Strong Grip Wheel, which is a super cool prize, is one of the prizes. Brett Sims recently made his Batarang, and that is one of the prizes.
Cool innovation.
So
cool.
I've been sitting here like, oh, should I message and like ask for one for myself, but and, like order one from me. But yeah, no, they're super cool. I'm a superhero nerd, so love that. Grip Sling, Duonamic. We've got a lot of great sponsors who have donated a lot of cool stuff. DGS donated a brand new hold that they just designed. We showed it on our social a little while ago. It's a mini UFO, but they said it was mini, but it's actually pretty big. So there's a couple of those up.
Yeah, if you're in the New England area, definitely go try to win that mini UFO, because UFOs have shown up and been a problem in the first 3 major WNL comps in New England. Vitality Obstacle Fitness, Jim Maynard, and then the Ultimate Obstacles competition. We used the DGS, I think they're the Axe targets, as like a UFO tech. Guys, we're all slacking on our UFO tech here. So definitely enter, win that prize. I'm also really excited for when people start innovating with batarangs. So right now there's just, you flop it over a bar and you grab it and all of that, but it's going to become like cane tech. So, cane tech is like you hook the ice pick tech. You hook the ice pick in like this tiny little like ring. Well, people are going to start doing that with the batarang. I like, that's what's going to happen. And so I'm very excited to see that. And you could be the first if you sign up for the Polls for Playground and win that as a prize.
Absolutely.
There we go. So let's talk about, why a playground. We mentioned in the beginning, the point of this is to make the sport of ninja more accessible. So let's talk about, why is that good for the sport itself? And also just why do playgrounds make sense?
Right. Okay. So, ninja's a newer sport. And as a mom, it's always been odd for me when people ask me what I do. And I'm like, well, I do ninja. And, you get this weird response, especially like, from other moms. They're like, what is that? And those who know what it is, they think of it as the TV show. They don't even realize there's a sport associated with it, let alone a sport their kid could be involved in. And that's always like a huge surprise. They're like, oh, that's so cool. My kid would love that.
Yeah.
And so I think there is this disconnect where like we in the community know about the sport. We think it's awesome. We want to see it grow. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there's like a lack of brand awareness or sport awareness, whichever phrase you would prefer to use, in larger communities that like outside of just, ninja and fans of the show. So what I have talked to you about, I know several times, is that I think basketball provides an interesting example for us. So basketball is just a little over 100 years old in our country. Mm-hmm. Basketball started at a YMCA and then spread to what we know it is, and then actually spread overseas through work of like NBA players going overseas and like sharing what it is, right?
So cool.
Yeah. So it's easy to look and say, oh, basketball's cheap. It's a ball, it's a hoop, like who can't do that? And it's easy to maybe get overly discouraged when you see ninja and it's like, oh, it takes all this equipment. But if we think of the history of ninja, there weren't always ninja gyms when people were training. There's like OG ninjas started their training on playgrounds, and a lot of people through necessity and lack of access to gyms have always trained on playgrounds or found alternative ways to train. And I think bringing back playground training through there's this big trend right now in playground builds, as Alex, our executive director, and I have discovered, like a lot of playground companies are trying to hop on this like build obstacle course playgrounds as like their trend. And so I think as ninjas, it's helpful for us to think about our sport and to think about how we would like to see our sport grow, and being able to partner with these companies who are wanting to do this anyway and being able to build playgrounds and provide like our expertise as athletes is only going to help our sport grow. And so, basketball, obviously it's super economical, the ball and the hoop, but we've always had playgrounds. There's playgrounds all over our country. So while we're wanting to continue building ninja playgrounds that are focused on ninja, there's also opportunity, I think, for more seasoned athletes to just share and be more open, like, oh yeah, like I have kids and, I rep out some pull-ups while I'm at the playground, or I know which playgrounds in my area have the spots where you can actually work on a lache that's like, because I feel like most of us know that sort of thing.
That's like, how we rate playgrounds, honestly, is most ninjable playground in the neighborhood. Like,
this one has some balanced stuff. This one has a lache if you a little techie, but you can do it. But so I think just sharing those kind of like training, I think is helpful, and I think it gets the sport out there more. And accessibility, it's important. So when I think of accessibility, I think of it in terms of like barriers. So it's
Right.
easy to think of accessibility and narrowly define it as, oh, accessibility is only about helping people who have physical disadvantages to
Mm-hmm.
participation. Or thinking of accessibility as only financial, but it's
Right.
this whole broad spectrum
The
of
spectrum.
things.
Yeah.
Yep, it's whatever can be a barrier. There can be people who have plenty of funds to participate, but the parent's work schedule, for instance, may not align with the gym schedule well, or
Mm-hmm.
it could be someone doesn't have childcare, or someone needs childcare, or
Yeah.
there can be all sorts of things that are barriers, and it doesn't have to just be financial. It can be a multitude of other things. So yeah.
Awesome. I'm really excited that accessibility for the sport is a conversation that's happening. And we talked a little bit before we started the call, and you mentioned safety is also an accessibility factor. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So in making our sport more accessible, it means there's more participants. And I think something that is unique and special to Ninja is that it's the only sport I'm aware of where you have minors competing against adults. Like adults, I mean, the elite division, it's age 15 and up. So
Yeah.
I mean, there is a master's division, but there's a lot of people who are 40 and over who still drop down and compete elite or compete in, the lower age group. So it's unique that you have minors and adults who are co-competitors, who are training together. It's just an interesting community. And because it's got those unique features, we have to take safety seriously. And so the more people we have coming in, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's time to talk, how do we tighten the ship, so to speak, and make sure that we are operating based on best practice, based on evidence and like statistics and research. How are we at, what is our gym culture like realistically?
Yeah.
It's taking those honest assessments and thinking, what do we want it to be? What are the policies that are in place, and what can we do to make sure it's safe for everyone? And I think in terms of accessibility, like I just mentioned, if both parents are working, I mean, I played AAU basketball, and I had teammates who needed rides a lot to
Mm-hmm.
tournaments and games, and it wasn't like they couldn't afford to be there, couldn't afford to go. It
Yeah.
was just an issue of like their parents had to work. And
Yeah.
so I know in Ninja the same is true. And so when we talk safety, it's how do we help remove that barrier that would prevent them from participating, but how do we do it in a way that keeps them safe and creates a safe community?
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because, one of the reasons I also wanted to have you on the channel was to talk about Darkness to Light, which is a program that Neighborhood Ninjas is affiliated with. And it's basically a training that you can go through as a gym to make sure that you do have best practices in place. And I think this conversation is really important to have in the ninja community right now. We've had a huge, big upset that occurred in 2020 with, one of the show's premier athletes having it revealed that they were, there was some alleged misconduct that really shook us all up and made us think more about it. You saw some evolutions in coaching certifications, having more of a safety component, but I do think there's still so much more work to do. And I think that additional work, I think Darkness to Light is a really great place to start. And I think one thing that was really pivotal to me is just recognizing as a coach that there are so many situations that don't seem unsafe. They seem perfectly normal, but they create the context. They normalize behaviors that actually can be unsafe if you have the wrong people in the wrong situation. So for example, like going back to like just somebody needs a ride, right? Like I think that's something that almost any ninja coach, it's a circumstance we've been in where like a kid's just like, hey, like I really want to go to this competition, but I don't have a ride. And we're like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like your parents trust me. I trust you. You trust me. Everybody's cool with it. So it's fine. Right. And so you don't think anything of it because, no one's going to look at you and be like, oh my gosh, there's a minor and an adult in the car together.
Right.
But when you think it through, if that becomes normal in our community, having those one-on-one sessions and making them normal creates the opportunity for unsafe things to happen, and it creates an unsafe situation.
Yeah, and so absolutely, I don't think it's the case that we shouldn't have coaches give kids rides, but I think the Darkness to Light training, first off, it is a nationally recognized training, and so by having 90% of your staff who's 18 and over complete the training, you get a seal that's nationally recognized. Boys and girls clubs have it, YMCA's have it across the country. It is a nationally recognized thing. And it will help bring your code of conduct and your safety policies in line with a national standard. So going back to the example of the coach giving a ride. So for instance, that could be a conversation that comes up. And I think
Yeah.
every gym is going to look a little different, and every gym's response to it is going to look a little different. But the basic points that they would work from is being one-on-one with a minor is not okay, because we know that 80 to 90% of sexual abuse occurs in one-on-one situations. So if we know that that's the percentage that occurs in one-on-one, and we know 90% of cases are perpetrated by people the family knows and trusts, then we know if we prevent one-on-one situations and do our part that way, we are actively protecting those kids, because the statistics are a little scary. It's 1 in 10 before they're 18 will be sexually abused. So if you think about your classes, you know, the odds of one of them having experienced abuse or being connected to someone who has experienced it is really high. And so putting policies in place that help prevent it, it's really not that hard. It's thinking creatively. I know while some parents have barriers like jobs and their kids need rides, there's always other parents on your team who are like, they're like the team mom, you know, like they're helping their dad, they're helping do stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so having them also help transport kids, like connecting parents together to create more of a community where it's like, oh, well, they could ride with so-and-so's family and it'll be a parent plus multiple kids in a car. Or if I'm a coach and I have to drive a kid, it's figuring out, well, who else can I throw? Like, what other coach wants to carpool? Like, let's make it a carpool situation. You know, it's creative problem solving. And it's creative problem solving to help keep kids safe. And so that's what we help gyms do. We help them think through those situations. And another example I think we talked about is, so being in a car, it's an isolating situation. It's how grooming can begin. And another place that I know we've talked about it is texting and DMing. And so navigating that is something else we help gyms think through. Like, what should your policies be? Should it always be like 2 coaches on a text to a kid? Like, so that way there's, you know, it's never the one-on-one isolated communication. Or should it be that the coach always texts the kid and the parent like together? So we help gyms think through that. And like I said, not every gym is the same. And so I don't think every gym is going to come to the same conclusion or same answers, but they're all going to be operating on the same principles and working with the same data, that these are the situations we're trying to prevent, and we're going to prevent them in a way that works best for our gym.
Yeah. And I think what's been really exciting for me to just kind of like listen to and connect the dots was, I think it was the info session that it was you and Alex and Megan did, kind of talking about the experience that you guys had with doing it with Warrior Tech. And what I found really like eye-opening about that was just hearing how, you know, there can be certain situations at individual gyms that aren't going to apply to all gyms, right? Like, it could be the way you have something constructed creates an isolated space. And so you need to be aware of that isolated space. And maybe that's something that you've never thought of. I know I was like thinking about our gym and I was just like, oh yeah, we do have like one of those locations. And, you know, that's something we need to think about, you know, as we're managing open gym situations, like making sure the staff members are placed in a way where they can see those sorts of things, and see those areas. And, you know, again, like DM situations, right? Like, like how many of our Ninja Team kids are shooting us a message being like, oh my gosh, I just saw this super cool thing. And like, you know, it's fun and it's exciting. And like, you know, you love having that camaraderie, but thinking through like, okay, like, is this creating a norm? Is this creating something that appears normal to people in the ninja community that could then lead to something that's unsafe?
So I think it's a discussion for parents too. Like, parents, you know, what do you expect of a 22, 23-year-old texting your 15-year-old? You know, like, like, have you thought about implications of those things? And, you know, I think parents can also be really good advocates for their kids with gyms. Like, what is your code of conduct? And just asking, what are the expectations, like, of how the coaches communicate with my child or with me? Like, I think parents need to advocate as well, like being in the know. And
fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much, Whitney, for coming here today. Anything else that we can think of we want to talk about here? I think. Oh, I have something really exciting to share. Okay. So guys, we've talked about Pulitzer Playgrounds. We have talked about Darkness to Light. Again, Neighborhood Ninjas, I'm just going to give a shout out to Neighborhood Ninjas. I've been with them basically since the beginning. I served on the board a little bit, and it's just really dang good people. And doing really great things for our sport. And I'm just so excited to partner with them. And I've been looking for opportunities to fundraise. If you guys have followed me for a while, you know I love doing things to fundraise. And I'm super passionate about this program and getting a playground out there so that more people can experience Ninja. And so for every view that this video gets, I'm going to donate $1 to the playground fund. So you all need to share it, watch it multiple times. Go check out the Neighborhood Ninjas Instagram and follow them if you don't already follow them. Again, there's going to be a crazy prize announcement coming up soon, and just be a part of following along on this journey to building our first playground and taking that first step in making Ninja more accessible. So pretty exciting. Whitney, any final thoughts for us here?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So I think, I have big goals for myself in Ninja, like as an athlete.
Yeah.
But like I'd love to be like first mom to get a city finals, first mom.
Let's go.
Yeah, first
Let's
mom
go.
to do one in Vegas. Like I have all these like big dreams for myself, but I think at the end of the day, I am completely happy with like creating, like helping further the sport, helping grow the sport, helping make sure the sport's safe, like helping, like leaving it better than I found it, helping pass something down like to my kids, eventually. Like, so I'm super excited to be a part of this work. I'm excited for what playgrounds can mean for the growth. I'm excited that, more people could possibly come into contact with our sport because of playgrounds. Because I do think it teaches a lot of things that shouldn't just only be in gyms, like the resiliency, the try something 20 times and you finally get it, like awesome, feeling like that just belong in gyms for people who can travel there and afford that. Like, I want to see this like be all over our country and something that's more normalized than just, for those who can be in a ninja gym. Yeah,
absolutely. See, I told you guys, Neighborhood Ninjas, just dang good people. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, everyone, I'm going to link Neighborhood Ninjas, the sign up for pull-ups for playgrounds, and any other content that you guys might need from this episode is going to be in the show notes. Please do go check it out. Again, November 5th is going to be the day that we do this competition, but there is a window that you can participate in it virtually as well. So definitely check out that information if you are interested. One quick thing, they are asking for a $50 sponsorship minimum to participate. So get on that, talk to your friends, just be like, hey guys, can you loan me $5? I'm not even loaning you $5. They're donating $5 to an amazing cause. So 10 friends, $5, there you go. And you're helping build a playground and you get to do pull-ups, which you were probably going to do anyway. So I think it's perfect. I think the whole thing's perfect. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Whitney, thank you again so much for being here with us today. This is Mary Layton and Whitney Miller. I'm the Commentator Ninja, signing off.